Looks like we got some more Aussies down here. Welcome, River. Good to see you. You're in good company. We got several Australian listeners here, so you are welcome to be here, and you should blend in just fine. Welcome, everybody. It's Saturday. It is the last live show of the week because it's the last day of the week, so that works out perfect. Squeezed it in under the wire there. See what I did? Hi, Amy Creel. Good to see you. Man from the West 420. Batman is here. Owl 13. Mickey G. Elaine Clifford. And who else? I guess I could do it the other way, but it's more fun to hunt for names. Deborah Neighbors is here. Good to see you. Hello, Elaine Clifford. Deb Varner is here. Our very own Deb. She is the Paranormal Portal psychic herself. Great to see you, Deb. Hope you're doing good. You got to let me know how that investigation went, by the way. I love those pictures. It looks really cool, like a cool location. Deb, our very own Deb Varner, went on an investigation the other night, and hope it was good. Maybe it was last night. I don't know. The days are blending together for me. I don't know what the hell day it is right now. Other than I know it's Saturday, because I already said that, but I'm just frazzled, but in a good way. Taking care of things and trying to keep up. But let's see who else is here. Over Dale Atkinson is here. Good to see you, Dale. And let's see, getting a lot of repeats on the chats. Annie Manul is here. Hello, Annie. And I might have already said hello, Annie, but I'll say hello again. Isaac Ariel is here. That means Kirsten and little Ethan can't be far. So love to the family, Isaac. Thank you for being here, brother. Looking, and I throw in the ums for buying myself time as I'm looking for Henry Dong is here. Hello, Henry. Welcome to the show, brother. Hope you're doing good. Having a wonderful weekend. That looks like the chat as far as I can see it. Over on Rumble, we got Barbara Mora, Dog Digger, and I'm over there. I'm sure Car Juice and others will be coming along shortly, but until then, we'll keep the seats warm. I guess that's what we'll do. Barry Anderson's phoning in over on Facebook. Good to see you, Barry. Great to have you here, brother. hope your interviews on the other shows went good too, brother. I'm glad to see you getting out there and telling your stories, man. That's awesome. You've got some amazing experiences, and I know that people will love hearing them. So, congratulations on that. Barry's he still holds the record for the most concurrent visits as a guest to the Paranormal Portal podcast. So, Barry and I have had several really good talks, and you can find them on that podcast playlist. But he's been doing appearances on other shows, so I'm glad to see that. Hello, Benno from Oz. Good to see you, man. David Zeismer popped in. Keith from 1675 is here. John Temperin, John Stevenson. So the Johns are all represented. Party can keep continuing then. Let's see what else I might have missed. I guess, is that everybody? Did I miss anyone? Please say hello to me in chat if I've missed you. I'm trying to get everyone that I see popping up. Yeah, I think I've got everyone so far. So, it's you and me tonight. This has been a solo week for me here on the show, and that's fine. I love doing the shows solo. I love having guests with me or co-hosts. That's fine too, but either way, I'm bound and determined to bring you Paranormal Portal. Heaping helping fresh from the ovens here in the portal kitchens. I don't know. Is that a good metaphor? I don't know. It's the only one I got right now. But anyway, I'm going to bring you that. We're going to get to the news here shortly. I got a new article from Avi Loeb, the Harvard physicist, talking about 3I Atlas. And I'll be kind of curious to read what he's got to say because, I don't pre-read this stuff. I just pull up the headlines and go, ooh, we got to cover that tonight. So we're going to be getting to that in the news, and we're going to be getting to the Discord question of the week, of course. So there's still time. If you're already a member of Discord, but you didn't get a chance to go over there and answer the question of the week, still time. I'm just saying, just share your thoughts. Chucky always posts up questions every week, and you guys always weigh in. So take a moment to do that. If you're not already a Discord member, then become one because it costs you nothing. And you can hang out with the very same people that are right here in the chat room because they're over on Discord as well. Wonderful group of people. I am incredibly blessed with the number of people that have called this portal home. So we got that going on, and then we're going to get to a thought catalog article. We're going to get to what the hell is that? And then we're going to get to Cryptid Corner. And my God, that should probably be the show. Remember though, I think you lost track of time. Hi all. It's okay, Karen. You're still on time. It's just starting. I'm just doing the gum running at the first part of the show. Hi, Dog Digger. I think I already said hello to you, but I said hello to you again. So, I don't usually see Dog Digger come in at the first part of the show. He usually shows up somewhere down the line, but it's good to see you here right out of the gate, off the bat. I don't know where the hell I was going with that, but that's my brain right now, folks. So, anything else? Well, there is a couple things. Again, this next weekend, folks, yours truly, that's me. That's code for me. Yours truly will be appearing at this place. This place right here, Wallace Paranormal Festival, folks. I'm going to be doing an appearance there. And look at that. Look at that sexy little tile. Join Brent Thomas of the Paranormal Portal podcast as he shares supernatural experiences and showcases evidence from previous investigations. And that's what I'm going to do. Probably a lot of other stuff too. I don't know what we'll get to and what we'll end up doing there. Why in the hell is that chat bleeding through? That's weird. Let's get rid of that. There we go. But I'm going to be showing up in Wallace, Idaho, Saturday, October 18th. I'll probably be there the 17th too. It depends on this next week. I got some things going on this next week, and if I can get there on Friday, I will. Otherwise, we'll see how it works out. But I'll get there and spend as much time as I can there. So if you're in the neighborhood of Wallace, Idaho this Saturday, come show up. Come hang out with us. I'll be doing a presentation. I don't know if there's an admission to this or not. That was never shared with me, but I think it's just kind of a whole festival thing. So whatever the case, but I'll make it worth your while. I'm just saying. Free hugs? I don't know. We'll figure out a way to make it worth your while. That's not illegal because I don't want to do any time. So anyway, that's coming up this next week. And then the following weekend, folks, it's even more. Just when you thought that, I think I didn't mean to close that, but I did close it. However, this next one is the week after. On October 24th, I'll be heading over to Massachusetts to hang out in Weymouth, Massachusetts at the Barrel House Z with the Hometown Ghost Stories guys. We're going to be doing a live show. They're going to be doing a live show. I'm going to be doing a live show first, and then they're going to be doing a live show. And we're going to be hanging out. So I hope if you're on the East Coast, this is my first trip to the East Coast representing the show. Not my first trip ever, but representing the show. So if you can be over there, it'd be great to meet you. You can go on to Eventbrite and look for the Hometown Ghost Stories live event and get your tickets in advance. It's going to be a great time. I don't know if it's sold out yet, but it may be getting close. So get your tickets now. There is a limited amount of space. So this will be on October 24th, 2025, Barrel House Z in Weymouth, Massachusetts. That's I don't know where they came up with Weymouth. That must have been somebody's last name. Anyway, there it is. Gonna miss that one now. Don't think my car will make it now. Oh, I'm sorry, Deb. That would have been awesome if you could have made it. Barry says it sounds awesome. Good. Well, expect you there, Barry. Just saying. No, I totally understand the car thing, Deb. I've got a good car right now, but I've had some turds through the years. And it's tough when you're rolling the dice every time you get in. It's like, do I really need that milk? Well, yeah. So you got to make the run. But not that you got to come see me. Take care of yourself, but I'm sure I'll get over to the East Coast again. It's just this is my first run over there, so going to be doing that. I think that's it for the announcements. I can't think of anything else. So all I can tell you is we got some news to get to. Like I said, we're going to be covering a new take from Avi Loeb, or I think regarding the 3-Eye Atlas. But let's see what he's got to say and more. So I hope you guys are ready to get informed. Is there Weymouth, England? Oh, I didn't know that. Annie, that's cool. That makes sense. Golden Boy Brent Thomas Benno says, I could use the gold. I got the gender part worked out, but I could use the gold now. I'm just saying. But nah, thanks, Benno. Appreciate that praise. I think that's praise. Or are you mocking me? No, I'm just kidding. I'm a little slappy tonight, punchy. I don't know what term you want to throw at it, but I'm just so frazzled that I've just been in such a reactionary state lately that I almost can't think clearly. And it's not like things are so overwhelming and horrible, but there's just more on my plate than normal, and I don't mitigate that kind of stuff very well. So that's why I'm so freaking goofy right now. But anyway, I was in Springfield, Mass. Thursday making pickup. What does making pickup mean? I don't know what that is. What is making pickup? I've never seen that. Or picking up something. Is that what you mean? But I'm sorry you couldn't have made it this time, or at least 2 weekends from now. That would have been perfect. Maybe you can get back up there, John, and hang out with me. So nothing but love, B. Right back at you, Benno. Appreciate it, brother. All right. Oh, semi-driver. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's fantastic. Maybe next time you travel across country, I'll just be out on I-90 there with my thumb and waiting for you to pick me up. Give me a ride somewhere. All right, let's continue and get to the news. So I hope you guys are ready. Rock Weymouth, Brent. You always do great. Thank you, Barbara. Is there a Weymouth Rock? Is that in England, or is that in the East Coast, or what? I don't know. Anyway, cool. Pick up, dude. All right, let's get to the news and see what the hell's going on in the world, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the news. Wait a minute. I didn't see. That's the only news I can trust. Where is that? John, you dropped it. Did you not drop that today? Oh, it's the only news I trust. I'll say it for you. I see that Man from the West 420 joined our Discord. Congratulations. Welcome to the Discord server. Great to see you. Hey, Unknown, I saw you emailed me. I haven't read it yet, though, but I assume everything will be okay for me to use that, so thank you. Let's get to the news. Obviously, throughout the course of the show, ladies and gentlemen, I utilize a lot of different websites for information, and these sites are absolutely incredible. These are the best sites out there that I've ever found. I just love them, and they are so well maintained and current, and there's always something to read every single day. They are updating these sites, every one of these sites that I use. And so I implore you guys, please support these sites. Please visit them. Please give them your love and get involved on these sites because they are incredible. And if you like this stuff, which is the paranormal, supernatural, Fortean, strange phenomena stuff, then you're going to love these sites because that's primarily what most of them deal in. So, and a host of other things as well. So please give them your love. Your traffic does equal revenue to help keep the lights on, folks. So make sure to support these sites. They're incredible. All right, so this is the news, and what we do here is I pull up a series of headlines to discuss with you guys about current events going on in the world, or sometimes they're even old events, but depends on the material. Sometimes we revisit old UFO abductions or hauntings, but sometimes it's really current stuff that's happening as we speak. So it's all wonderful. Hello, Amanda. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. It's Amanda's Crazy Life channels here. Good to have you here. All right, let's get to the first story tonight as we dive into the news. And I got to get the right page lined up. There we go. All right, here it is. Here's the headline. This is right off the bat. Avi Loeb has made a name for himself, folks. Basically acknowledging that he believes there could be extraterrestrial intelligences that are active in our galaxy and others. They're sending tech out there and maybe probes, maybe surveys, maybe anything. He kind of made a name for himself when the old Oumuamua came through our solar system years ago, maybe 4 years ago or 5 years ago. And it did some weird stuff in this trajectory around the sun that shouldn't have been possible for just mundane meteorites or whatever. It made a weird turn and some other oddities. And so he went on the record and say, look, maybe we're looking at alien technology. Maybe what just passed us was not a natural object, but was in fact some form of technology. And I think it kind of slammed everybody like, wow. And Avi Loeb has kind of become the Jeff Meldrum or John Bindernagel of the Bigfoot world in the UFO world. He's an academic who's willing to put his name on this stuff. And I love the guy. I don't know. I'm sure there'll be conspiracy theories about everybody, no matter what they do. But I just love the fact that he's not afraid to ask the questions. I think that that's a huge move forward, and he's in the news again. He's been talking about the 3i Atlas object that's entered our solar system and is moving towards Mars or just away from Mars now. I don't know what the hell it's doing. But there's some considerable oddities about this object. He even went so far as to suggest that maybe this object came from the very location in deep space where we received the wow signal back in the 80s, I guess. And that was an incredible event where a very powerful signal came from deep space that didn't look like anything natural ever recorded. So they call it the wow signal because the guy that saw it come through the meters on the tape of the readings wrote wow exclamation point. And so it's become known as the wow signal. But he suggests that maybe 3i Atlas came from that same region of space to us. So let's see what he's got to say today for this show. This episode is the latest updates, and this is coming courtesy of unexplained-mysteries.com, one of the most incredible news sites I've ever found. I love this site. It's amazing. So please support them, and this is 30 to 40% chance that 3i Atlas is a spaceship, claims Avi Loeb. All right, Avi Loeb. I like this guy. All right, let's read what this says. It's not too hyper long, so it should be good. The interstellar object has been at the center of a great deal of speculation and debate in recent months. In what is shaping up to be the most talked about mystery of the years so far, the exact nature and origin of the object known as 3I Atlas continues to intrigue, and scientists insist that it is likely more than a comet, and others, such as Harvard Professor Avi Loeb, maintaining that there is a reasonable chance that it's actually some sort of extraterrestrial spacecraft. Currently heading towards the inner solar system, the object recently passed Mars, where it was picked up on camera and appeared in some images as cylindrical in shape, although many argue that that's more likely due to the long exposure time of the camera. 3I Atlas is somewhat anomalous in other ways, too. There have been claims that it exhibits evidence of industrial construction, that it is changing speed for no reason, that it may have been the source of the famous SETI WOW signal, that it appears to be emitting its own light. Many of these claims remain controversial, but they have helped to drum up considerable interest and hype, with some people expecting 3I Atlas to change course at any minute and head straight for us. They're coming, baby. Woohoo! I love it. Most recently, Avi Loeb stated that there was a 30 to 40% chance that the object was an alien spacecraft. Despite all this, however, NASA remains adamant that it is in fact nothing more than a comet. Nothing to see here. Move along. Of course NASA says that. When have they ever embraced the idea that there's something more? Anyway, it looks like a comet. It does comet things. It very, very strongly resembles in just about every way the comets that we know. Tom Statler, NASA's lead scientist for solar system small bodies, told The Guardian. It has some interesting properties that are a little bit different from our solar system comets, but it behaves like a comet, and so the evidence is overwhelmingly pointing to this object being a natural body. It's a comet. Love that scientific open-mindedness of this guy. It's a comet. I'm telling you, it's a comet. Man, this guy wants it to be a comet so bad. And why? I don't know why. Why do they have a vested interest in it? If they're scientific about it, they should be open to every possibility. It says, given that 3I Atlas continues to get nearer, we may not have too much longer to wait before we find out for sure if there really is anything strange about this interstellar visitor. As things stand, it will reach its closest approach to Earth on December 19th. That's given its current trajectory and speed and all of that. So December 19th is when it's going to be closest to us. So maybe we'll get our answers then. Maybe sooner. I don't know. Maybe it'll start doing lots of turns and, I don't know, whipping shitties in the solar system. I don't know. But it's cool. I think it's cool. I love the fact that this guy's not afraid to put it out there. And right or wrong or otherwise, it doesn't really matter whether he's right or not. I mean, there is anomalies with this object anyway, but he's at least not afraid to ask those questions. Like so many of these scientists, they will seek answers within a paradigm. They're only willing to look from here to here. And Avi Loeb's like, hey, could be anything, maybe even aliens. He's way over here. And he's not afraid to put it out there. So I really respect this guy. I like what he's doing. I think it's wonderful. He's asking the questions and he's enabling the conversation to happen. So God bless this guy. Very cool. I don't know him. I mean, obviously I've never talked to him or anything, but I just love the fact that he's willing to put it out there. God bless him. More of our scientific communities need to embrace his example. He's probably got tenure, so he's okay anyway. But I had a talk with Jeff Meldrum. I was like, Doc, how do you get away with this stuff with the university? He goes, oh, I got tenure. That was hilarious. But anyway, there it is. We'll find out. Eventually, we're all going to know. We're all going to have the answers, and maybe it is just a comet. It's okay if it is, but what if it's not? What if it's not? This is a momentous but potential event. If it's not, this is the beginning of our introduction to a whole nother race of beings on a very open and public way. I hope they don't stop at the White House. Just open the doors over anywhere, everywhere, and wave. Throw candy, whatever. Just don't make it a secret. Well, there you go. That's the article that I've been waiting to read with you guys because I think it's exciting. All right, let's get to the next story from the news tonight. This one's kind of cool, and I've heard this for a while now. I thought it was more IR, but it sounds like it might be something else. I thought it was infrared, like I've heard the claims that people emit light. Well, everything with heat is emitting light because, light is the heat, the IR, infrared, is a wavelength of light, and that's, radiating heat, basically. So here's an article from unexplained-mysteries.com. It's not too long. We should be okay. And this one is, humans may emit a visible light that disappears upon death. There you go. Turn off the switch. The plug was pulled. I mean, it makes sense, right? I don't see why not. There's been people that have speculated that maybe for some of the wild fauna out there, and including, I've heard it referenced for Bigfoot and stuff, that maybe for them, we are these glowing things. We are like, maybe that's why they can see these hunters decked out in camo up in trees 100 yards away, because they look like little light bulbs to these other creatures. I don't know. But let's see what the article says. A remarkable new study has indicated that all living things may exhibit a type of biophoton phenomena. The research, which is conducted by scientists from the University of Calgary and National Research Council of Canada, looked at the somewhat controversial idea that biological processes emit very faint wavelengths of visible light that disappear when the organism dies. Oh. While often confused with claims of paranormal auras, this idea does have merits. What like auras don't? I think he kind of just played his cards there. Whereas auras are silly, is kind of the implication there. Many biological processes really do emit light in the form of chemiluminescence. Chemiluminescence. Wow. I don't know how I can spit out words like that, but I'll screw up a name like you wouldn't believe. Actually measuring this in any meaningful way, however, has always proved challenging. For the new research, scientists have been able to detect ultra-weak photon emissions. I guess that's UPE. Ultra-weak photon emissions. Okay. From several types of living animals as well as plant matter that disappear upon death. Exactly what causes the phenomena, however, remains unclear. Of course, this glow is not visible to the naked eye, otherwise we would visibly glow in a dark room. But there is merit to this research. It might one day be possible to determine someone's health by monitoring or analyzing their subtle photon emissions. Wow, that's kind of cool. Perhaps paranormal studies concerning auras and images captured through Kirlian photography are not quite so out there after all. Yeah, Kirlian photography is fascinating. Like, I've seen examples where they, if you've ever seen it, or go look it up on YouTube. It's KIRLIAN photography. They'll take like a leaf, put it on the sensors, and it'll be kind of this, looks like an electricity spider web, which forms the leaf. Then they'll remove the leaf from the sensor. They'll cut it, put it back down, and now initially when that leaf is put back down, it will look like the leaf except with a cut edge, but soon after that, the original form returns, at least for what the camera captures. Now, I don't pretend to know anything about Kirlian photography. I've heard about it, God, since I was a teenager. It's been around a long time. And it sounds fantastic, but I guess it's always been kind of considered a pseudoscience of some kind. But I think it's fascinating that, it can capture this energy field of things, so to speak, in a very visual way. So I don't know. That's kind of behind the infrared, along with this photon emission, along with maybe some other things like Kirlian photography. Then maybe they'll have a whole new Star Trek way of scanning you and going, oh yeah, your appendix is bursting, and then they do what they do. I don't know. I think it's really exciting, though. Could really be some crazy advances in medicine by way of what kind of photons we emit. That's cool. I'm all for that. I think, here's the thing. I don't necessarily want to live forever, but I want to live well for as long as I do live. I don't want to be a crumpled up mess somewhere. I want to, be able to walk and talk and do the things that I do until my time comes. But maybe this will be one of those steps that'll get us there. Who knows? But it's kind of exciting. I think it's cool. But let's get to the next article. This will be the last one for the news tonight. Do I want to read this one or do I want to read? No, that's not. I'm going to read this one. This is the last one that's left. This is from unexplained-mysteries.com. How long is this one? Really long. I'm going to have to pick a different one because this one's really long. And it's kind of subjective anyway. Let's read this one. This one sounds more interesting and curious as well. Anyway, here we go. Last article of the night. Unexplained-mysteries.com brings us this. Elon Musk's Starlink satellites are regularly falling out of the sky. Oops. You guys hear about this? I have never heard about this. Are they like coming down like mosquitoes in the rain or something? I don't know what's going on. Anybody heard about this? Brent, is you okay, bro? Aliens can be rough. I think I'm okay. I think I'm good. Kirlian photos are interesting. Broken leaves show the energetic map of the complete intact leaf. Yeah, exactly, Amy. Yep. Kirlian brisks? What does that mean? Is that a food? Like a brisket? I don't know. This one is really long. Yeah, some of them are really long. I like some of these articles are actually more like white papers that were written by, contributing authors. And I can't read those on the news here. Kirlian frequency, Codega's Codex of Curiosities. Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. Well, one fell over in Utah after the election. Oh, really? Okay, I never heard about that. They say one a day is falling from the sky, Chucky says. Wow. Yeah, this is the first I've heard about it. Let's see what it says. From October 11th, 2025, which is today. The satellite constellation, which is made up of 8,500 individual satellites, remains somewhat controversial. Designed to offer internet access to people all over the world, Starlink seems to be a good idea in principle, but not everybody is too happy with the way things are going. Ooh. Astronomers have long expressed concerns over the light pollution caused by these satellites. What? They're worried about the light pollution. Well, just lob some more up into space. They got the Hubble. They got the other new one. I got it. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, there's other. I don't know. Anyway, let's continue. Whatever. I guess I think astronomers need to just get a grip. Just wait till they pass. They don't stay around that long. Astronomers long expressed concerns over the light pollution caused by these satellites, and now it seems though they are literally falling from the sky on a regular basis, thus raising questions about people's safety and about the potential impact that they might be having on the Earth's atmosphere. This year alone, reports indicate that at least one Starlink satellite is falling out of the sky every single day. You're right, Chucky. With that number expected to rise in the future. What's going on, Elon? Although the satellites are reportedly designed to break up harmlessly in the atmosphere, it's still a concern that so many of them are burning up so often. Each one has the potential to disperse pollutants. Boy, this is some anti-Elon stuff here, isn't it? Such as aluminum oxide particles. Well, that's okay. They're chem spray and all that stuff anyway. It's not clear yet, really, even in the age of mega constellations, whether these effects are going to be big enough to be really problematic. But it's not clear that they won't, Harvard-Smithsonian astronomer Dr. Jonathan McDowell recently told Earth Sky. That research is underway right now, and if it comes back that we are already doing damage to the atmosphere in this way, we're going to have to rethink some of the disposal strategies. I mean, things are hitting our atmosphere all the time, from all over the cosmos, carrying God only knows what. And we've managed to make it this far. Do I want satellites raining down? No. But if they're designed to break up and burn up in the atmosphere, I'm sure it's probably going to be just fine. The amount of pollutants would probably be less than 5 minutes of rush hour. If they all came down, would probably be less than 5 minutes of rush hour in LA or something. It's like, yeah, I mean, come on. They're just, it doesn't look like a real praising piece of Elon's work. I think Starlink is brilliant. Before that, there was, people that didn't live in towns connected to high-speed networks were stuck with HughesNets. And HughesNet was basically dial-up from space. I mean, it's like, a 50, I mean, it's obviously faster than 56K, but back when I got the internet, there was like 33.6, but if you had a good connection in dial-up, you had 56K, and that was the stuff. And, we made it work. I used to do a lot of gaming back then, and, I had no problems, but now we're at gigabit connections and better, and we're spoiled. Now, granted, we're moving more information over these networks than ever before by a long shot. When you got like 4 and 8K videos shooting through space and back again, that's pretty incredible. But, excuse me, hold on. But, if one a day is falling, there's 8,500 of them. Okay, well, I'm sure they'll figure out why they're falling and hopefully correct for that, or figure out, what's going wrong. I don't know. I mean, if you're lobbing 8,500 satellites up into space and one a day comes down, you're still way in the plus. You're still way in the good zone. All right. Well, anyway, that's the last piece of news. I don't know if you liked it or not, but I thought it was fun. I guess that's going to wrap up the news. So let's get back to the rest of the show. We got a lot to get to, and let's get to that lot. Here we go. Buckle up. We're heading out. Wrong button. Wrong button. One second, folks. Just give me a second here. Say some prayers. I'm sure everything's fine, but Wes has a adorable little dog called Teddy, and he was having some issues. He was going to take him into the vet, so I was just sending Wes a nice message, just hoping everything is okay. So I just remembered that I saw that as I was prepping for the show. Sending prayers. So send your prayers for little Teddy, and send your love. And I'm sure everything's fine. Probably he's got a little sprain or something, but yeah. I don't know if obviously Wes is an amazing guy, but one thing you may or may not know, if you follow Wes, you'll know this, but he loves his dog. He loves his dog like crazy. And it's so funny, the stories he tells about Teddy and the things that they get into. And that Teddy's this little puffball. He looks like a Q-tip, but he's got the attitude of a Rottweiler, this little guy. And the way Wes tells the stories is just hilarious. But I'm hoping he's okay. So send them prayers. Somebody's talking about cooking. Amy, you cooking or you're not cooking? What's going on? I don't know what's going on. I'm looking at the chat here going, what is going on? All right. We're going to get to the next part of the show, folks. This has been a long time part of the Paranormal Portal, and it's something I started years ago, but I think years ago. God, I don't know how long it's been around. At least a year and a half ago, maybe longer. But it's been now championed by our very own Chucky Danger. Truth or Tinfoil's here. How you doing, brother? Thanks for coming in. But Chucky's been asking a question of the week. And the question of the week is meant to ask you guys a question about the paranormal, supernatural, Fortean, strange phenomena. So it could be UFO, could be cryptozoology, could be something about ghosts or hauntings or other spiritual events or strange phenomena like the Mandela effect or whatever. And it gives us a chance to ask you guys, what do you think? What do you think's going on here? And Chucky's done a hell of a job with this. He's really brought it to a whole nother level, just having some amazing ideas for questions to ask. And your guys' feedback has been amazing. So I thought somebody else said brisket. I didn't think it was me that brought it up. Somebody said it in chat, I thought. So the question of the week has become a fun part of the show because it lets you guys sound off on this stuff. And again, none of us know what any of this stuff is really. I mean, nobody can say, well, this is exactly what it is, even though there are people out there that say, this is exactly what it is. And more power to them, that's fine. But in truth, none of us know what any of this is. And so it's really cool to hear what you guys think. And you guys have put some incredible ideas on the table. And it's really blown me away. So I love this segment for that reason. And Tax, who up until recently used to be with me every Saturday night, this was his favorite part of the show, was Question of the Week. He loved doing Question of the Week because he just thought it was fantastic. And so we're going to do that now. But this is a new question comes up every week on the Discord server. So if you're a member of Discord or you want to be a member of Discord, please get involved and look for that thread, the Question of the Week thread, and weigh in. Let us know what you think. There's no wrong answers. There's no dumb answers. There's no bad answers. It's just ideas because the Paranormal Portal is first and foremost a discussion. It always has been. So I love discussing this stuff and I love hearing what you guys think. And so that's why we've been doing this. So without any more delay, well, let me close this before I forget and try to read that again another night. Let's get to this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the question of the week. Here we go. Truth or Tinfoil says, remember, Tex is also easily entertained. Yeah, so am I. That's true. But it's a great segment. I really love doing this, and it's been a lot of fun to cover on the show. But let's see where it starts here. Holy macaroni. Yep, here we go. This is tonight's question of the week. This is the Discord, if you're not familiar with it. This is what it looks like, Paranormal Portal Discord. Let me drag it down so you can see. There it is. And this is where you'll... God bless it. Stop it. Stop. Ugh. There it is. This is where you'll find the question of the week, which is right here. You click on this thread, and that brings up this. You look for the most recent. Look at the dates, because oftentimes new people will answer whatever pops up, and it's probably a question from a long time ago. So make sure it's the most current date and answer away. So we're going to get into this now and see what you guys think. I don't even know. I haven't read any of this stuff for this last week, so it's always fun for me because it's like unwrapping a present every week. Chucky asked for this week's question of the week. Special thanks, Chucky. You're amazing, brother. As we get into spooky season, it's said that we get to the point where the veil between our world and the spiritual world is thinnest. Do you believe this to be true? Will there be an increase in paranormal activity? Great question. Great question. It's long thought that Samhain is the thinnest of the veil between this world and the next. Some other ideas in other observations, esoteric observations, are that it's actually up until the Yule season that it gets thinnest. But in any case, I don't pretend to know either way, but let's see what you guys said. So coming up first, Eric the Wandering Purple Hobbit says, answer of the week. Do you honestly think that applies anymore? I think it stays that way anymore. Seems the strange and unusual have become the norm. Speaking of which, I've been in Florida for 3 years and not seen one wild gator or orange groves, but do you think the gators ate all the oranges and died of a vitamin C allergy? Maybe a skunk ate both of them. Maybe, but I'm betting you just need to drive down some different roads. I don't know about the skunk ape, seeing one of them because they're pretty elusive, but chances are you'll run into oranges eventually. And gators, for that matter. Go down to the Everglades. Next up comes Annie Manuel. Yes and no. All sorts of cultures have beliefs in different times of the year when the veil is thinnest. The Chinese have a ghost month, which is August through September. Cultures originating in Western Europe have All Souls Day and Halloween, which originates in Scotland and Ireland. So there's not one specific period it's belief-based, and that's important. Wow, great observations. What it really is that we're interacting with to produce paranormal experiences seems to be affected by belief. Yes, it does. You're right. I don't know if it's the case of causing things, though. I suspect that element, or is it a case of us being open to new paranormal experiences because we expect to see them? If you're Chinese, you expect to see ghosts in August, but if you're Scottish, then it's October. Do we notice more ghosts around Halloween because the veil is thinnest? Or is it because our belief affects reality and our perceptions? I think it's the latter. I think you're right. I think we are definitely manifestors of our experience. Average people generally don't notice a lot because unless they're looking for it or are open to the experience. This isn't to say the veil doesn't thin or that there aren't people like shaman who can cross it. It is to say that subjectively, most of us experience that when our culture tells us to look for it. Great points. That's actually very brilliant. Very good position. I'm very thrilled to read that. Next up is the gas man. I say no. I say all energy being used by humans wanting and wishing to see ghosts and spirits is what's causing it. That's very similar to what Annie said. Not due to the day of the year. It just so happens that October is what we've been conditioned to see as spooky time. If there's a veil and it can be thin, then our own energies are what's making it happen. Just my personal belief. Well, that's very profound. Yeah, absolutely. I think we do create experiences. Yeah, as I just said. Eric the Wandering Purple Hobbit comes in and says, it's all bad gas and a bit of undercooked potato. Taters? What's taters, precious? No. Stupid fat hobbitses. I'm just saying. Could be. Undercooked potatoes. What's wrong with undercooked potatoes? Is there something to do with undercooked potatoes? I'm curious because when I was a kid, my mom would cook big batches of food because there's 4 boys in the house and my dad and then her. So we ate a lot of food. And she would use these big pots. And they'd be heaped with potatoes. My dad would buy like potatoes in the 50-pound batches from the farmers that grew them, not from the store. And we always had potatoes. And one of the things we would do is when the potatoes are being cut up to boiled, if you're really hungry, you just grab some salt and shake it on one of the slices and eat it. And hell, I grew up doing that. Is that a problem? I don't know if that's a problem. Fall is the annual death of nature, so it makes sense it would be spooky season. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I'm sure that it has to do with the solstices, which are cycles. And that's where the observations come from. But very cool. Michelle Wolfong comes in next and says, the veil is thinner refers to an ancient Celtic belief that the boundary between the physical world and the spiritual realm becomes blurred, especially around Halloween. Celts believed the spirits to those who had died during the year could easily come back into the earthly realm. Many Halloween traditions of all from Celtic practices related to the veil thinning. Costumes were worn to ward off malevolent spirits. Food and drink were left outside of homes to appease the spirits in honor of deceased loved ones. Yeah, that's a great history observation, Michelle. Thank you. Play Nendo Gaming from across the pond weighs in and says, there is more manifestation because of the will to manifest. True. I mean, we're all looking for our Halloween spooks and stuff. We'll go to scary movies. I mean, it's when Hollywood releases a lot of the horrors and stuff is around Halloween in that season, kind of like Christmas is the family time movies and Santa movies. And it's because that's the zone that we expect it to be in, I guess. But very cool. Let's see, who's this? Ace Aliyin? I don't know who this is. Is that Ace Aliyin? Okay, I don't know that name. Is that a new name? Welcome to the show, or to the Discord. Said, I second this. As simple as the answer may seem, it might just be because of the increasing thoughts towards such things compounding. Yeah, I think many of you guys are on the same thread here, of thoughts. With that, you understand we do create our experiences, and I mean that in a very profound way. I oftentimes say, hey, we manifest all the time. I mean that we really manifest everything in our experience. I don't think it all happens consciously, or maybe even not much of it happens consciously, but I think that it's definitely something that we do. So, and it's more than just, oh, I hate Mondays. Mondays suck. It's going to be a terrible day. Well, yeah, it probably will be, but it's because you expect it to be. But I'm talking more than that. I think we manifest in profound ways, and we are incredibly more adept at shaping our reality than we think we are. All right, coming up next is Karen Alberding. She says, I don't think it really has anything to do with the time of the year. I think it's a cultural thing because it's near Halloween. It's supposed to be spooky. A lot gets read into it or created in a way. So in some cultures, it probably is a belief because of some long-standing myth or something that may be true that happened that got passed down for generations. And like so many things, gets added to or taken from and isn't anywhere near the original belief by this day and age. I think the veil can be thin at any time depending on conditions, though the conditions would need to be just right, as in space, time, solar type conditions, things here on Earth, a whole lot of things. I don't have a clue, but that's what I think. Probably making zero sense, but it makes perfect sense to me. I think it's great. Excuse me. And she goes on to say, it can be created by your own mind to be spooky if you want it to be. In other words, I don't think ghosts has a schedule or hauntings, and other paranormal events look or think it's October now. Time to get busy. I think they can be busy anytime. Sure. Yes. Very much so. I think that's very much so. And there's more to it, ritualistically in some practices. You would look at planets, celestial bodies, stars, seasons, days, times of the day. There were so many aspects to a lot of magical practices in terms of summoning and contacting and invoking or evoking. But all of those things were considerations in doing the rituals. So it was a very comprehensive list of observations and requirements that would have to be right in order to do it. And it could be done at any time, really, but those were the most favorable conditions. So, there's a lot that goes into this stuff. All right, let's go to, it's not to say I don't believe in paranormal things, Karen continues. I absolutely do. They're just not any schedule. And some can be evil, but it's any time or conditions need to be right. But it's any time or conditions need to be right for an increase in activity. I'll stop now. That's great thoughts. Great thoughts. Thank you, Karen. I'm just really impressed how many of you are on the same page about we're creating experiences. I like that. Jemgun comes in next, says, I don't know if any rise of paranormal activity is because the veil is thinner this time of year. My theory is that the veil has been thinning for some time, but life keeps us so busy that most of us only allow ourselves to pay attention to the other side around Halloween time. Of course, there's always some that are more aware of other realms, but I don't think the condition of the veil really affects them since they know how to look through it anyway. Oh, good point. Yeah. Anyway, just my thoughts on it. Great thoughts. Great thoughts. Next up comes Barbara Mora. We're always surrounded by things not of this plane of existence. I agree. Some see and hear them better than others. Some refuse to acknowledge them, and some pretend during the colder months. I don't think the veil is thinner People way back in history had to prepare for winter months. Winter was unpredictable, and I can imagine that was very scary. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Rachel comes up next and says, there are places in the world called thin places. Yeah, there's lots of cultures that have observations of there's sacred places because it was believed that the spirits inhabited those places or could come and go. And there were also very negative places with the same regard, like that's an evil place. Don't go near it. There's evil spirits there. During full moons, there seems to be an uptake in bizarre, irrational behavior. Very true. I worked in corrections for years, and we were very cognizant of moon cycles. And we were very used to the fact that on full moon nights, keep your head on a swivel. And there's no kidding. There was absolutely a correlation between lunar cycles and behavior. Let's see. That happens on the full moon. I don't know if it has a similar name such as the thinning of the veil, but we know it does really happen. The thin places in the world are always areas of strange phenomena, not the ones that are governed by the seasons of the calendar. Culture tells us that as the days shorten, nights grow longer, that spirits are more likely to roam. Good point, too. There might be some other partly physical reasons that spirit energy is stronger at these seasons. The tilt of solar energy, Earth's magnetic fields, energy density, and the spirits can utilize, but we call it here the thinning of the veil, when instead it might be the strengthening of the bonds between the sun, earth, and spirits. That's a good point. I think it's... Yeah, I think you're right. I think, of course, the veil is obviously just a metaphor for a boundary of sorts, but yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. John T. comes in and says, I believe the veil is getting thinner, whether spooky season or not. I guess that's agreement. You were saying, John? There is negative and positive visitations, certainly. Very cool. But yeah, those are great takes, guys. Brilliant. And I think you guys are right. I think you're on it. I don't have much to add because you're right. Certainly there are individuals with I don't want to say gifts because I hate that term. It sounds like exclusivity, but there are some people that are just more tuned in and can see and hear and recognize this stuff regularly. And then there's the rest of us who usually aren't very aware, but there is something to do with the culture affecting life. And part of our culture here in the States is an observation of Halloween. And that's when we acknowledge, I think, a lot of the spirit around us, maybe more than other times. And that's kind of why it's a little bit sacred. It's a little bit spooky. It's a little bit weird, but it's wonderful at the same time. So we do shape our experiences, though, guys. You guys are fantastic, phenomenal. Great feedback on today's question of the week. Thank you, Chucky. What could the esoterics call the river of forgetting? Could be what the esoterics call the river. Benno says, who has Brent got with him tonight? I think I.O. heard that voice before. I.O.? I think I've heard that voice before. Oh, what voice? What are you guys hearing? I don't know what you guys are hearing. There's no voice, but there was a hiss. That's the ghost radar. That's down below. That's detected a spirit. And that makes that hissing sound if it's supposed to be in a pretty intense presence. That's supposed to be a very energetically strong presence according to the program. But I didn't hear any voice. Did you guys hear a voice? There's none that I know of anyway. So, all right. Hello, Linda. Good to see ya. Rachel says, "Oh, I'm just a plain yogurt cookie." I don't know what you guys talk about. Was what in Don C? What is going on? Did I miss something? Do ghosts get stuck? I think they can. I think they certainly can. I think there's a very possible that, the advent of their passing was either, traumatic or confusing or just so sudden they didn't really realize what happened. And so they linger like they're stuck. And then there's the idea that they might be stuck because they're just working things out before the next place, you know, like they're trying to tie up some loose ends in their own experience or life or problems or whatever. And so they take some time and they linger. And I don't know, could be, but you guys gotta let me know. You were voice making then. What are we talking about? I don't know what we're talking about. Hello, Linda. Phil's for dinner, everyone. Oh, Phil's cooking? Good deal. What time should I be there? Are shadow people scared of the light? I don't know if they are, but they're not really visible in the light, I don't think. I think they could be just as prevalent during light time as they are in darkness, but it's like ghosts. I don't think that they're necessarily like more active during the night. I think it's just you can't really notice them as much when so much is going on, when there's, you know, so much activity as in the day. So I don't think there's a day-night correlation for, I heard a voice kind of sound like a Simpsons character. Oh, I mean, I do that voice. I do the Homer voice all the time, but that's maybe what you did. I don't know. I don't remember doing it recently, but anyway, not since we've been doing the question of the week, but that I remember. It's possible I did it. That's kind of second nature for me to just go into Homer sometimes. But thank you guys, everybody that weighed in on the question of the week. Brilliant responses, great ideas, just top notch, guys. Really well done. So this has been the question of the week. There it is, the question of the week. We did it. Thank you, Chucky. That was awesome. Good question. I like that, and I like you guys' take on this. So we got more. We always got more. Oh, that was it then. Okay. Yeah, it depends on the quality of my voice. If I'm really froggy or whatever, I can't do it then. But and I've been coughing a lot lately, but I think it's the change of seasons. That's what I'm going with anyway. It also gets drier. I don't like how the air dries out when you start using heat. It feels like it just sucks me. That was not right. That didn't sound right at all. It feels like it just draws all the moisture out of me. I got to be careful with how I phrase things. Honestly, I never really intend to be like graphic or gross or anything. It's just I do hear the way I say things. I'm like, oh, that didn't sound right at all. So my apologies. It's kids spreading the flu. Yeah, Brent is very talented. Oh, thank you, Benno. I thought there was someone else in the studio with him. Nope. Just me. Just me. Drinking too much coffee. I got a cold cup here from earlier. My Bigfoot cup. Isn't this great? That's such a great cup. I use it every day as my Bigfoot cup. It's a pretty big serving. A big mug of love every time. But I see what you did there. Yeah, of course. I did see that. All right, so we're going to get to an article that we've been burning through for the last few shows. I think we are going to get through it today. I think we'll tie it up today. This is from thoughtcatalog.com. And again, this is I love these Thought Catalog Reddit scrape articles. And there's several authors of this site that have done a lot of them through the years. They aren't doing them as much anymore, which is kind of sad because I loved reading all their paranormal, when they had asked their Reddit some questions, like tell us your scariest ghost story. And then all these people would contribute, and then they would grab responses and create these articles. And I love these articles. And there's still more. I mean, I'm looking through their archives and finding more, but I noticed they don't do them as much anymore. And I really wish they would pick that up again because they are so fun and so neat. But this one was written by January Nelson as the author, and it was from 2019. And this is 30 ghost stories that will chill you to your core. And not all of them are chilling me to the core, but they're pretty cool. Pretty cool. So we're on number 22. That means we got, I guess, 8 stories to go. And we're going to tie those up now. So hope you are all ready to dive into this, because hang on, we're going in. Let's do it. Here we go. This is number 22 from thoughtcatalog.com. January Nelson, 30 ghost stories that will chill you to your core. Great article. It was really well. January Nelson's written several of these, and I really love that work. All right. Thank you. Benno says, awesome mug. Yeah, it was. It was a gift. A birthday gift, actually, from my last birthday. And I love it. I like a huge-ass mug, man from the West. What can I say? Here we go. From the time I was about 12 to 17 years old, I lived in what I believe was a haunted house. I've never had experiences like I had in that house since moving out. A few specific memories come to mind. Once I was hanging up laundry in my closet. I heard someone whisper my name in my ear, clear as day. I'd never sprinted out of a room so fast. Another time, my sister and I had friends over, and we decided to use a tape recorder and ask questions to the ghosts like they do on those paranormal shows. We played the tape, not expecting to hear anything, and could hear a very soft voice say, "I'm in the closet." Oh, God. We're sitting near a small closet in the basement. My parents eventually decided to sell the house. We moved into a new place before selling this place, and my sister stopped by the house after there had been a couple of showings to turn out the lights in the house, and she went to turn off the lights in the basement, which had multiple light switches, and one was at the far end of the basement, away from the stairs. Of course it was. I think those are invented by people that are just sadistic. It's like, yeah, let's put this one over on the other side. She turned off the light and swears she heard heavy footfalls of someone running towards her. She ran out of the house without turning off the rest of the lights and just locked the door. And that was the last time either of us went back until we were in the neighborhood and the new owners offered to show us the renovations they made. Nothing happened then, but they did ask us if we wanted to babysit their kids, and we politely declined. Oh, no, I'm busy. Always. That's creepy. Yeah, I mean, if you're happy to get out of a place, there's no reason to linger. Just stay away. If it wasn't a happy place for you, if it was an unsettled feeling, stay away. All right, number 23. Okay, so when I was about 9 years old, I went down to the graveyard to visit my grandpa, as I often did when I was younger. My parents felt it was safe for me to walk alone since I had my Hello Kitty phone with me, and the graveyard wasn't that far from my house and my grandma's house. Plus, some of my classmates lived close by as well. So I went down, I talked with my grandpa for a bit and washed his grave to make sure it was clean because 9-year-old me wanted it to look nice. Well, after about 20 minutes, I decided to go home. And as I was walking, I suddenly stopped and looked over at a tree. My grandpa had told me that it was there her best friend was buried. My grandma told me it was there her best friend was buried. Well, there wasn't a gravestone, but over time, had a tree grown on her. And I don't know what that went to my 9-year-old brain, but I decided to talk to her like I did with my grandpa. "Hello, how are you?" was all I asked, not expecting a response. But then it appeared. A ghost of an old lady in her 50s. I assumed that was my grandma's best friend. I don't remember exactly what she said, but I think she said she was doing good. Well, I stayed an extra 20 minutes and talked to her. I can't really remember what, but possibly my grandma. My grandma. The only reason why I left was because my mom called me, and I said my goodbyes to her as she disappeared. So not really a scary story, but still a ghost story. I think that's a beautiful story, honestly. I don't, I mean, I hope she was talking to the old lady and not something that decided to look like the old lady. That's the scary version of that, but if it is, I suppose, I don't know what it is with cemeteries, but, and maybe it's by virtue of us occupying these meat suits. Like maybe there's some connection that lingers long past when we pass away that connects us to our mortal remains, because there's so many eras and eras of in stories and stories of people investigating graveyards and finding some pretty incredible evidence and having incredible experiences. I don't know. Is it the people that have departed and left their bodies behind in this place, or is it something else just lingering there, trying to find an attachment? And I don't know. I don't really aspire to create fear and doubt and such, but it's certainly something that I question personally. It's like, well, is that really who this child talked to? Or is it just something that looked like an old lady just because the child was expecting to talk to an old lady? So I don't know. I don't know if this child continued this event, if it was just a one time, or if they continued talking to both stones. I don't know. Anyway, cool story. I like that story, though. It kind of feels really endearing, honestly. Is it possible she talked to the old lady? Sure. I don't see why not. I mean, at the end of the day, when we pass, we are energetic beings. And certainly, if the intent from this child was to talk to the grandma's best friend that was buried there, then I don't see any reason why she couldn't, from the other side, come and visit this child who was spending time talking to her. But I don't know the rules. Maybe there's rules against that. I don't know. All right, number 24. When I was around 11 and I was convinced the house was haunted because I heard footsteps all the time, but no doors would open. One day I was under my blanket and I heard the footsteps again. I check and I see this little kid with black eyes, short hair, and was about as short as the bed, just staring at me, about 2 feet away. I couldn't sleep in the dark, and I developed nyctophobia from it. Is that a fear of the dark? I got to look up nyctophobia now. I'm assuming it's fear of the dark, but let me look it up. What is, Google, please help me. What is nyctophobia? It is a rational fear of the darkness. Individuals with nyctophobia experience significant anxiety and distress when exposed to dark environments, such as at night or in dimly lit rooms. Well, there you go. I was right. It was contextual, but I solved it. There we go. Number 25. I was 5 at the time, just moved to Florida from New Jersey. Lived in the back of an apartment complex on the 3rd floor. Only my mom and I. Well, she told me recently that every single night she'd hear noises of knocking and banging and such around the apartment. Well, the kicker of it all that proved it, I was in my room with a vaulted ceiling and had stuffed animals on shelves way higher than I could possibly reach. I was playing in there with some toys while my mom was making dinner, and the door was wide open, and out of nowhere, the door slammed shut hard. Of course, my mom runs to my room to check on me. Apparently, I was laying in bed, and all of the stuffed animals were in a pile in the center of the room. We took a week vacation after that. Hell yeah. Get some cleansing going on there. Another time of proof, my mom went for some water or something in the middle of the night and saw me sleepwalking around the house and stated that I looked like I was chasing something around the house. She called out my name, and apparently I answered in a deep male voice. She then ran out of the house and didn't return until morning. Don't blame her. She leave the kid alone in there, being possessed by some man? That's gross. Still get chills thinking about this stuff. There were so many more than just this. Yeah, I don't have any way to attribute this to anybody, but it'd be neat to talk to these people. Those are great stories. Number 26, my dad passed away when I was just 8 months old. When I started talking, I would tell everyone that I see Daddy. My mom would even walk in on me talking to my daddy in the crib. Strange thing is, my mom never taught me the word daddy since I wouldn't be needing it. Oh, that's so sad. Oh. To make things weirder, when I was 4 years old, I came downstairs and told my mom that Daddy had come to visit me. And I told her that he was coming to get Grandma and take her with him. Not even an hour later, my mom gets a call that my grandmother had passed away. Whoo, that's gives you chills, doesn't it? That's creepy, huh? Oof. Number 27, we're closing out this 30 story deal. I was really young, I'd guess 8 or 10 years old, but that's just a ballpark guess. And I shared a room with my younger brother. Well, our room was very large, and for some, we put our blankets right in the middle of the room with the side of the bed facing the doorway. I had the top bunk. Every morning, our mom would come into our room and wake us for school. It was the worst feeling. Well, this morning, I had already been awake for some time, just laying in bed. It was still dark outside, depending on the time of the year. I don't remember it being dark when we were getting up for school might have been normal. So I'm sitting there laying in bed, and the door to our room opens. It doesn't take much effort to turn my gaze to the door. I see a woman in some kind of white gown, I can only assume is my mom, even though I never recall her ever wearing an outfit like that, just standing in the doorway. She takes a step in, closes the door behind her, and slowly starts approaching our beds. Oh, that's so horrible. She gets so close that I'm no longer able to see her because of the angle I have being on the top bunk. I assume she's going to start waking up my brother at any moment. So I do that kid thing where I shut my eyes and pretend to be asleep. I wait and wait and wait. I finally open my eyes and the door is still closed. I'm super confused at this point, so I lean over the railing to see what she's up to, and there's no one there. I freak out, cover my head with all my blankets, and lay there for what felt like quite a bit until I eventually fell asleep. Yeah, that's creepy. That's so creepy. Yikes. Number 28, my dad died about a month ago suddenly. We're native people, so we believe in the spirit world, and little weird things happened throughout the week of his funeral. After we buried my mother's and his ashes together, as they wished, we saw 3 rainbows. Remember the double rainbow guy? I was 3 times full as joy as he was. We went back to my uncle's to relax, and the door to their lower patio blew open. We all looked at each other, and we woke up the next morning, and fresh snow had fallen. It was very early, and no one would have been walking around, and we saw 2 sets of footprints in the snow in a circle. This is way up north, so people aren't just walking by. What made me happy was it was 2 footprints. My dad had lost a leg in 2013, and I was glad to know that he'd gotten it back. Aw. Yeah, that's sweet. That reminds me, a long time ago, I've told the story about Stephen, my friend who from high school. His name was Stephen Tharlson, a wonderful guy, but he had pretty significant case of muscular dystrophy even back then, and he wasn't supposed to live past like 9 years old, but he lived into his 30s. He was always pushing the boundaries and led an incredible life for somebody that was only supposed to live a few years after diagnosis. But I remember Stephen was always looking for the cure, and who can blame him? He was facing this life of degrading muscle ability, and it was like the world was slowly closing in on him. And we would talk about it and talk about miracles and talk about, healings and stuff like that, and, just hoping for something to break through for him. And I've told you guys many times that after people I love pass, oftentimes, not every time, but oftentimes they come and see me in my dreams. And these are very real experiences. And after Stephen passed, it was not long after that I had a dream with him. And when he came to me in my dream, he was walking. And he was confined to a wheelchair, could only move very little bit. And I was so happy for him. And he was so happy. And it was such a beautiful moment. And at the time, I didn't really realize the significance of it. But since then, and having seen so many of my other loved ones pass away and come to me, I came to realize, no, that was maybe really him. He might have came to show me that, look, he was fine. His legs were fine. He was walking. It was just so cool. I really needed that, because that was one of my earliest experiences with death, was losing Stephen. But I was so happy that he was healed. And so there is that, but that's cool. Number 29, I used to sell HVAC in Michigan during college. And there was this really awesome old dude that called for new high-efficiency furnace in his historical home in Depot Town, which is near Ann Arbor. Well, as I'm putting together the quote, we get to talking about the home and its history. He tells me that it's a part of the Underground Railroad and had a tunnel that led down to the train station only about 500 yards away. To be honest, I was more focused on the sale than all the details he was laying out about the house, but one thing that made my ears perk up was the people that lived with him. Well, he tells me about a few, but the one that stuck out was he said there was a lady that was so fascinated with electricity, she would turn random lights on at random times. As I was printing out the quote and going over the details and payment options with him, the light behind me turns on. The one across the room. Then one across the room. Then one in the kitchen. Then one in the hallway. I just kind of got quiet and sunk a little in the seat. And then the old dude raised his voice and said something like, "Okay, that's enough for today, sweetheart. We can do it again tomorrow." To this day, I don't know if the old dude was having some fun with me or if it was real. I don't understand. Was she sitting with him? I guess. I thought it was the one in the light. Yeah, I mean, she must have been visiting him in his historical home. Okay. I'm always thinking everything is Zoom and Skype and stuff, but this is probably before that. Excuse me, sorry. All right, number 30. This is the last one from the article, folks. Here it is. My mom believes in good spirits and getting blessings for good luck and protection by putting out food offerings for them on our dining table. My mom does this for special days, and after she's done with her prayers, that's when anyone can eat the food. She usually does it in the morning, and then by the afternoon, that's when the food is free for the taking. So it's a typical afternoon. I was online with my laptop in my room, and I got hungry. The room was connected to a small hallway, and at the end of the hallway is the living room and the dining table. So I opened my door and stepped out into the hallway, and I saw something on top of the table eating. It was hard to make it out at first, and I'm nearsighted, and this thing was kind of transparent. I got closer and stopped halfway through the hallway, and I realized there was literal transparent brown monkey on the table. It was making motions as if it was eating some of the fruit offerings. It didn't notice me yet, and in my disbelief, I got even closer. And when I stopped in my tracks again, right at the end of the hallway, it noticed me and got startled. I'm startled, the monkey's startled, and I'm just standing there and not believing my eyes. Very quickly, this transparent monkey just jumps off the table and ambles off hastily towards the exit where the outer door is locked. Jeez, that was a loud one. That's it. I just stood there staring at the door where it fled, and I'm just like, wow, I really can't believe what I just saw. In American horror movies and scary stories, there's hardly anything about ghost monkeys. I don't consume that kind of content, and ghost monkey? Who'd have thunk it? Well, anyway, later on I told my mom about what I saw, and she didn't even blink. I might as well have told her that the sky is blue. I'm her daughter, etc. She really believes in spirits that much and didn't doubt my story at all. Also, years later, I told one of my coworkers, who is also Cambodian around my age, speaks fluently and has also been to Cambodia, about my experience. He said that there's a lot of monkeys in Cambodia. I didn't know this at all and had never even seen a monkey in real life. My mom doesn't talk about monkeys and owns nothing related to monkeys, so that's my story. Neither me nor a ghost monkey expected to be spooked that day. I think that's cool. I think that's really cool. And again, is that maybe an egregore, or is it actually a independent spirit? Like, by virtue of her leaving out these offerings and expecting that it was for the good spirits, for good luck, that maybe she manifests something that would come and partake of those gifts? Or is that actually an independent spirit, an intelligence of its own that just happened to show up that day in a way that could be observed? I think it's cool. Ghost monkeys in East Asian lore. Yeah, I guess so. Dude dropping acid? No, I don't know. I've seen an apparition myself, so I can't mock that at all. I believe wholeheartedly that I guess it was just this person was able to see it that one day. But a cool experience, because I don't know. I mean, obviously we all always try to be spiritual and give thanks and observe the practices of our faith, and sometimes when things get hard, it feels like it's an exercise in futility. But then to hear a story like this, it's like, maybe something's always listening and always showing up and always trying to help and being there for you. And that's very reassuring. I think that's a beautiful story. And that's the stories from January Nelson, ladies and gentlemen. Writer, editor, and dreamer. She writes about astrology, games, love, relationships, and entertainment. Very cool. She did a great job. I love this. I love these collections. I think they're a lot of fun to go through, to explore, and to think about. So there we go. Good article. Hope you guys enjoyed that. It's kind of appropriate for the Halloween season, of course, but it's always appropriate here on the portal because it's always Halloween here. We don't do that whole seasonal stuff. Ghost monkeys, Chucky. A lot of cultures around the world observe kind of like totems. It's kind of like the totem animal thing. They're just a representation of a spirit. It doesn't necessarily mean it's actually a monkey spirit, but it showed up according to the belief of the person, I guess, or at least a region of belief. So that's cool. Very cool. God, I wish I wasn't so froggy. I'm so sick of this. It's like I'm coughing up. I don't even want to say it. I realized what I was going to say, and I was like, no, that sounds incredibly gross. Never mind. It's just that gummy phlegm. Just, ugh. All right, there it is. That was the article. Hope you had a good time with that. But we got a lot to get to still, because there's a lot more, including this.
What the hell is that?
Indeed, what the hell is that is now what we're going to be doing. We're going to be discussing what the hell is that. Say it again. I'm a gross guy. It's okay with me. I'm not going to say it. No, I mean, it grossed me out. And if it grosses me out, and it wasn't like a poop joke or nothing. It was just like, I was just going to say it's like trying to cough up caramel. It's like, that. It's like, it's just the clingy kind. It's just like, God damn it, get out. So that's what I was going to say. So I did say it. All right, you talked me into it. Whatever. All right, we've got some stories to get, or some video stuff to get you here. I don't know. This is kind of a, what is this one? Yeah, it's a collection. This is, I don't know. This is from Bigfoot. It's literally Bigfoot on Facebook, but it has to do with wolf-like creatures. There's new photos emerge of upright wolf-like creature. I don't know if it's only one or is there several. I don't remember. I think I perused these at the time, And some people in the chat or in the comments are saying, it's a dog man. Well, it might be. I don't pretend to know. I've never seen one of them, and I'm not really excited to see one of them. But there was another one on here that I think I'm probably going to lose monetization for the episode, but it was really good. I think I'll give you guys a link to the other one rather than trying to play what's clearly protected material on the show. And I don't want to get a strike or anything, but it's a very cool thing that was covered on this other show. And so I'll share the link to it in the next part for the next one, but I'm not going to play it on the show. But here it is. Here's the, oh, geez. Excuse me. That was good, though. That was productive. That was productive. There we go. I think I made some progress there. That was good. All right. This is from Bigfoot on Facebook. And I guess that's a Facebook account. I don't know much about it. I guess we could click on it and look at it. What is Bigfoot on Facebook? Oops. Didn't want to do that. I wanted to do this. Open a new tab. I just want to look at the account quick. So it looks like Bigfoot has 85,000 followers on Facebook and is following 4 channels themselves. It says it's a personal blog. I guess Bigfoot's blogging now. There's a few of these. Oh, I should probably keep that open, though. There's a few images in here that would be fun to discuss. But this is follow Bigfoot on Facebook to get more like this. They obviously post a lot of stuff over there. So here it is. Here's the new photos emerge of upright wolf-like creature. Let's see what you guys think. All right, here it is. There's the first one. And I'm just gonna go through all of these quick because I don't know how many there is. I guess it's the same one. What is that saying? I can't really read it, can I? The fen or fairy werewolf, a black shack and red eyes in the dark. The fen werewolf. Okay, the fen werewolf. I've never heard of this. The fen werewolf before. Okay. All right. Well, there it is. That's a couple more pictures, I guess, of it. Trying to put it in a position. I guess it's all the same image there. Oh my God. There we go. So this is the first one. This is the second one. It's all the same image, even though it's in a collage. So it's just. And then there's this one. This one's old though. I remember seeing this one years ago. Thank God for the red circle because we would have never known where to look. But I don't know what the hell this is. If it's anything, if it's just some smudging on Photoshop, it's just so pixelated. There's nothing really to make out other than it looks like not human, but I don't know what it is. And there it is again. It looks like it has more like a lizard, crocodile kind of mouth though than a wolf. There's no upright ears for an upright canine or canid type creature, so I don't know what to make of that. But this one, I don't know what the story of these images is, but somebody's saying fake. It's probably AI, actually. It's interesting. I don't know the backstory. What do you guys think? Are we looking at something real? Give me a 1. If are we looking at garbage? Give me a 0. If you're in the middle, give me a 0.5. Time to vote, folks. Get out your... Oh, Mike Prine already weighed in, said, nope, not buying it. Big 0. I got you, Mike. Maggie says nope. Rachel says nope. Pixie Ranger Nate says nope. John Temperance, maybe. Yeah. Phil Funk says nope. The Legs, Sharon Sunshine says nope. Chucky Danger says nope. Okay. Barbara Moore has given us halfway there. She's halfway there. I thought Reptilian too. Yeah, those last two did. Annie Manewell's not into this, and Man from Loess is laughing. So John Stevenson's not buying it. I want to believe. Aggravated Progressive says, don't we all? I mean, I do believe, but I don't know that this is what I want to believe in. But anyway, I have no doubt that there are things like man-like canids walking around or Bigfoot or any of this stuff. I'm sure it's all out there. But interesting all the same. It looks a bit deformed for a dog. Yeah, I don't think it's a dog. I just don't think it's necessarily real. I mean, it's not a bad phony, but this one I'm not sure what to make of. But these two pictures have been around forever. I remember seeing those years ago, and they do look more like maybe reptilian. I don't know. I'm not really sure what reptilians are supposed to look like either. I always thought they were more humanoid, but maybe they got a muzzle as well. I'm not sure. They've not visited me, and that's okay with me. No offense, reptilians, if they're out there listening. I just don't know what I would expect to see. I don't need to be pooping myself in my own home. So I don't know. Could it be real? Maybe. I mean, there's no reason to think it couldn't be. But it is unusual. So I kind of with you, man, bear, pig. Hey, you guys. Canine Fooey, says Benno. Yep, Maggie said man, bear, pig. Pig man from Maggie. Yeah, I don't think we're looking at anything here. But interestingly enough, I will kind of hang on to that other page from Bigfoot, though. Bigfoot on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen. Follow the account, check it out. Wolf Coon Pig, maybe. I don't know. But anything's possible. Whoops. Forgot to turn that off. What the hell is that? We don't know. But we're trying to figure it out. Those are the first two pictures. I am going to keep the rest of it open, though, because I think there's some good stuff there. And
basket.
Is it a basket? Basket of fun? Just like the rest of the show? Ghostbox said basket. I don't know what that could mean. I don't know. I'm just looking around like, what does basket mean? Could it mean anything? And I got nothing. Does that mean anything to you guys? I don't know. We'll just keep rolling. The next one up is this one. It's a link. And I would just ask you guys, I mean, obviously, I'd rather you didn't leave to go check out this whole video. It's kind of long, but it's actually a brilliant, it's a neuroscientist who's talking about near-death experience or seeing the dead. I don't remember. I watched it and I was like, wow, this is really good. But I'm going to copy the link and I'm going to paste it in the chats. It's on Facebook, but it's worth watching. It's actually from Mayim Bialik's show. I guess everybody has a podcast now. I used to think it was special to say, I'm a podcaster, but now it's like everybody's a podcaster now, which is fine. Basket case, maybe. Maybe, Casey, that might be it. But it's an interesting interview she did. And Mayim Bialik, who was Sheldon's girlfriend on The Big Bang Theory, she was Blossom as well back in the day, but she's actually a very, very educated, smart person. She's a doctor herself. And so like in physics or neuroscience or something, I don't know. But the girl is incredibly educated. But I like to see that she's got an open mind for this stuff. That's very cool. Silly Ghosts and a Visitor to Brent. Yeah. Did the cat alls ever roll? What are cats? Oh, the cat balls? No, I've never seen them roll. They've never moved for me. They flash, but I've never seen them move. Not that I've observed anyway. I've found them on the floor in here, but I can't say that they moved on their own. That could be the cats. Cats found them and went, ooh, that's mine. But at any rate, they're back here, right back on the stand behind me. I don't even think this one has any juice left. Yeah, it's almost dead. It's almost dead, the poor guy. I wish you could like swap out a little coin battery or something for these things. It just seems so wasteful. Like, oh, let's just throw it away now. We're done. I hate that it's wasteful like that, but very cool. I gotta order some new ones, but those are a great low barrier to do ghost research. Cat balls, yeah. All right, let's get to the next one. I think I only got one more, and then we're gonna get to the cryptids. But there's the link. Check it out. It's really worth checking out. Here we go. This is one that was sent to me. I think Chucky sent this one to me, and we've shown her videos before. This is her name is she got paranormal_link_ on Instagram, and it's a cool channel. She does a great job. She does these videos on all the weird stuff around. And I haven't even watched this one. I saw that Chucky sent this. I saw that Chucky sent it. I'm like mumbling here. Sorry. And I was like, oh, we should probably check this one out for the show. And so, by God, that's what we're going to do. But here we go. I'm going to pull it over and get it on the screen after I size it up right, and we'll check it out. Again, I like this lady's channel. She does a really good job. She talks about a lot of ghostly, weird stuff, hauntings, UFOs, even creatures and cryptids. So she's got the whole works over there. And again, it's paranormal_link. Her name is Myra Moore, Myra, and then her last name is Moore. And so check out her channel on Instagram. Seems like a neat soul. I think she'd be fun to talk to. But here it is. Here's her. I don't think it's her video, but it's her doing a review of the video. So let's check it out. There we go. Here we go.
Of an interesting video coming out of Guatemala. This was captured by a man with the handle name of the Elvis Channel. He was excavating his yard when he found this weird looking stone. Now he thinks that it may be some sort of fossilized dino egg or even a geode.
A fossilized dinosaur egg. That'd be a hell of a find. I mean, they've been found before. It wouldn't be an unheard of thing, but I think they're exceptionally rare. That's really cool.
But take a look at his videos. They do crack it open, and you decide for yourself, could this have been a fossilized dino egg? Or is this just a perfectly shaped egg stone? Tell me what you think.
A ver, agarra. Venga a ver lo que encontré. Mire. Rebotó mi.
I don't speak the language, but I imagine he's like, wow, check that out. I just found this rock. What do you think it is? Looks like an egg. Just totally paraphrasing. I'm going to actually kill the sound because I don't speak the language. And I'll certainly send you guys the link if you want to check this out for yourself. But a dino egg. Is that so supernatural, unbelievable? No. But it's an exceptionally rare find if it's an intact dino egg. I'm curious what it looks like when they open it, though. Is it having a formed embryo in there, or is it like just an egg inside? I mean, I don't expect it to be liquid, but I wish I could fast forward on this. But it is a really cool find. Do you think he found an egg? Give me a 1 in the chat if you think that's an egg. I mean, we haven't seen it opened. Oh, here we go. Maybe they're going to open it now. It seems like a bad idea, though, to find something like that and say, well, let's crack it open. Because I would imagine it's intact. It's got to be worth a lot more than in pieces, right? Wouldn't you think? I mean, it looks like an egg. Looks like an ostrich egg, really. I don't know how big ostrich eggs are, but I think they're in that neighborhood, right? Or is that even too big to be an ostrich egg? See, he's thinking he's got a geode. But I guess he's going to find out what he's got. Oh, crack. It's not popping like a geode, that's for sure. That guy started out kind of gentle, and he's like, come on. Now he's smacking the hell out of it. There it goes. I don't think that the egg, well, I don't know. Would the chitin of the eggshell, which is the material eggshell is made out of, would that fossilize? I mean, that's a mineral, isn't it? So, I don't know. Would you expect to see a chitinous rim and then... So I would expect to see more. If it was an egg, I would expect to see, I don't know, something more than a patch of concrete in the middle. I'm not saying that's what it is. But what do you guys think? Is that an egg? Geode? Well, maybe it is a geode. Maybe it's just full of crap. I don't know. But interesting enough. I don't know. Is it really fantastic of an event? No, but it's fascinating. Does it really belong on What the Hell Is That? Maybe not. I don't know. I think I was expecting something a little more like, whoa. But But still, thank you. And if you guys find videos that you think would be great to include on What the Hell Is That, please send them to me. Send me a link either on Facebook directly, if you are following me, or send it to me via email at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, and we can certainly discuss on the show. I don't know what, let's say it was an egg that was like a yolk and the white stuff, like a farm egg that you get from the store. If it was fossilized, what would the yolk and the white stuff look like fossilized? And I don't know. I don't know what I would be expecting to see inside, but I guess, honestly, I was expecting to see something that looked like a dinosaur embryo if it was an egg. But when I make omelets, it doesn't look like a chicken. You know, it looks like a yolk and some whites. So maybe that's what it would look like. Anybody know? Lenda's like, nope, not a dino. Annie Manuel, nope, not a dino. Okay, very good. Thank you guys for weighing in. I really don't know. Yeah, X-ray at first, Barbara Morris said. That would have been a better plan. Although, I'm betting they probably don't have X-rays just laying around wherever this was. I forget what country they said, but it does look like a more impoverished community. But it would have been neat if it was a geode. Maybe that would be worth something.
Magnet.
It's a magnet? It's a magnet, the Ghost Box says. Maybe. I mean, would it be magnetic? Maybe if the right minerals were inside, it could be. I don't know. Basket and magnet. I got some magnets right here on the microphone stand. I guess I can't pull it into frame, but they're there. So there you go. These are the magnets right here. This is a stack of rare earth magnets. Yeah. Magnet egg. Maybe that's what it is. Should go in a basket. Eggs go in baskets. Maybe that ties it all together. I don't know. Interesting enough. Yeah. Maybe not so much paranormal, but interesting all the same. This is another one that I was going to show you guys, but it's another talkie one. So watch the last link that I sent, and then watch this one. This one's Chucky didn't send me this one. This one was from the Anonymous Shadow W on Instagram. This is another one that's narrated, but it's got some cool information. And they're basically showcasing a video that's been around for a long time. But it is very curious. This is very, very pre-AI. So it's not just an AI fabrication, but it has to do with somebody filming like a few gray aliens walking around. And I don't know. I mean, it's fascinating. It's called 2011. The Skinny Bob videos were released on YouTube under the pseudonym Ivan0135. Here is Chris Ramsey speaking on Skinny Bob footage titled Family Vacation 06. So I don't know. Was it in 2006? Is that when this came out? Skinny Bob? Maybe. But it says it was released in 2011. But you can look for the Skinny Bob videos to see, I guess, more of the actual footage and less of the actual narration from the clip that I just linked you. But yeah, unviable eggs. Looks heavy, X-ray first, unviable eggs. Oh, okay. Thank you, Barbara. Yeah, at worst, this is an AI remake of the original. Of what? Oh, the what? What are you talking about? I've had sand fleas as big as golf balls in my swim trunks. Jesus. What are you feeding them? What do you got going on in those trunks? Just saying. All right, well, we got to get to the cryptids because we're about out of time again. Again, you be the judge. But there's the links. Check them out. Check out those videos that I did link, if you would, please. Just open them up in a new tab and watch them after the show. But they're very interesting. Very cool discussion points. Worth considering. So what the hell is that? I don't know. You be the judge. You be the judge. I'm not the judge. I'm just the host. Okay, what do I got going on here now? I got to get to this. There we go. Because we're going to go to the cryptid corner. And this time I'm going to probably go a little bit into overtime. And I apologize for that. But This is pretty interesting stuff. This is from Sasquatch Chronicles blog. I don't know if Wes posted this or who posted it, but it is very interesting. There we go. Sorry, another hairball. All right, so let's get to this next part of the show. This is the part we lovingly call the Cryptid Corner. Get ready, folks. We're taking a walk down the dark paths to the Cryptid Corner. There we go. All right, let's get to the Cryptid Corner. This is History and Encounters, The Beast of Bray Road from October 10th. Wes posted this. And I haven't read all of this. I just scanned it quickly. But it's very interesting. Now, again, Linda Godfrey was a guest on my podcast. I loved Linda Godfrey. She is like in my top 3 guests of all times. I just really thought she was an exceptional person. My show was pretty small then, and she still made the time to come on a couple of times. In fact, the first time I interviewed Linda, she brought along Lee Hempel, and because he was willing to come out with his own first real name. He is mentioned under a pseudonym in her book, but that was Lee's first appearance on any show, was right here on the Paranormal Portal, and we showcased some trail cam pics that the world premiere that had never been seen before, and some pretty interesting ones at that. But I fell in love with Linda for a lot of reasons, but mostly because she was just such a neat soul and kind and engaging, and she took the time to come on a little show called the Paranormal Portal. So God bless her. We love you, Linda. We miss you dearly. But here it is, History and Encounters, The Beast of Bray Road, which again is pretty much a name that Linda Godfrey put on the map, as well as Dogman. She was pretty much one of the first people to bring Dogman into our common understanding. The Beast of Bray Road is one of the most famous American cryptids, a mysterious wolf-like creature said to stalk the rural roads and fields near Elkhorn, Wisconsin. Often described as part werewolf and part unknown beast, it has been the subject of local legend, media attention, and cryptozoological research since the late 20th century. I'm going to move my microphone over. The Beast of Bray Road is typically described as 7 feet tall, muscular, and covered in dark brown or gray fur. Bipedal, though sometimes seen walking on all fours, having a wolf or dog-like face with sharp teeth and glowing amber or red eyes. Known to emit growls or snarls and chase or observe witnesses from roadside fields, many people consider it a werewolf-like cryptid or dogman, the type of humanoid canine reported in various parts of the U.S., especially the Midwest. The legend of the Beast of Bray Road gained widespread attention in the late 80s and early 90s when a series of encounters were reported in Walworth County, Wisconsin, particularly along Bray Road, a quiet rural stretch outside Elkhorn. The story was first popularized by Linda Godfrey, a local journalist for The Week, who in 1991 published a front-page article entitled The Beast of Bray Road. The article compiled local eyewitness accounts of a strange, upright wolf-like creature. The media attention that followed led to national coverage, and Godfrey later wrote several books investigating the phenomena. Doris Gibson, October 31st, 1991. While driving home from work late at night, Doris swerved to avoid what she thought was a large animal on Bray Road. When she got out to check, she saw a large, hairy, wolf-like creature with pointed ears and glowing eyes standing upright. It began to chase her car as she fled. Then there's Tom Bridgetaw, late 1980s. A local man reported seeing a dog-headed creature kneeling by the roadside, apparently eating roadkill with its hands. When he stopped to look closer, it stood upright and glared at him before walking off into the woods. All right, and that brings us to Russell Gast of 1990. While working in a horse farm near Elkhorn, Gast and other farmhands claimed to see a tall, hairy creature prowling around the pasture at night. Horses became agitated and refused to go near certain areas afterwards. And multiple 89 through 92 sightings. Over a dozen similar sightings poured in during these years. Drivers, farmers, and even teenagers reported seeing the beast near Bray Road, County Highway NN, and other rural areas. Descriptions were consistent, upright, canine-like, fast-moving, and often associated with fear or aggression. Then there's modern reports. While the original wave of encounters slowed after the early 1990s, occasional sightings still occur around Elkhorn, Jefferson County, and southern Wisconsin. Some witnesses have captured blurry photos or audio recordings of strange howls. Then there's some theories of the beast. Misidentified animal, possibly a large wolf, coyote, or bear, seen under poor lighting. An escaped exotic pet. Some people think it could have been a hybrid animal or a dog bred to resemble a wolf. Supernatural creature. Others believe it's a shapeshifter or a spiritual being linked to Native American folklore. And then there's the cryptid/unknown species. Some zoologists suggest it could be a remnant hominid or undiscovered predator, similar to reports of the Michigan Dogman. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's probably one in the same. So there you go. Charles R. weighed in on it. After hearing about this Loup-Garou type beast all these years and meeting it's Mrs. Godfrey, not Ms. Godfrey, at a Bigfoot conference in 2011, I did not know exactly where Wisconsin Bray Road was. I'm a bit surprised that it is a farming country in southeast Wisconsin, just maybe 10 miles north of the famous Lake Geneva, except for one small patch of woods, not a lot of places to hide. No, there isn't, but I don't know how much room they need. We don't know anything about them, so maybe they can. The big thing Linda always said was that the one key factor for the beast of Bray Road and the research that she went on to do after that was that they always stuck near water. They always would stay near waterways. Their traffic routes seemed to go alongside of waterways, and that was kind of a navigational pathway for them to go along waterways. And so water seems to be very important for these things. I don't know if they require a lot of water or if it's just a navigational, like their version of roads. I don't know. But it is interesting that water is always consistent, at least according to Linda, when she was on the shows. And please listen to those episodes, because it's still, to this day, the most popular episode I've ever had of the Paranormal Portal, with, I think, around 30,000 views, which isn't a lot by YouTube standards, but it was a lot for this channel. And there's no wonder why. I mean, Linda's amazing. But very cool. I don't know if you're familiar with the Beast of Bray Road. I'm sure all of you have heard about it, but just know that Linda's books are still available out there, folks, and you can go get them and follow the work that she did and the incredible amount of time and energy she stuck into this. When she was on my show, she was talking about the research that they did, some of the bait traps that they set and what happened. And it's fascinating. It's really, really fascinating stuff, folks. So you should definitely check out those shows. I've listened to a few times. One of my favorites. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. But, yep, there it is, the Beast of Bray Road. And that's, I guess, our spotlight for the Cryptid Corner tonight. Maybe I should call it the Cryptid Corner Spotlight and cover a creature. Maybe that's the way to go. I don't know. The show's always evolving. Now, remember, folks, if you have ideas for the show or things that you'd like to hear more of or less of, or segments that I'm not currently doing that you think would be good to include, email me. I love your feedback. I did a poll recently on YouTube, and I'll pull it up here if you guys want to see. But I also did it on X, but I don't have a very big following on X. So if you're on X, please follow at Paranormal Portal, Portl. Paranormal's full word. Portal is just Portl because I ran out of characters. But I just asked people, what is your paranormal jam? What is it that you like the most? So let me pull this up and you guys can see what people said. I thought it was interesting, but very much so, still to this day, the most popular topic, according to our YouTube audience, or at least from respondents, the most popular topic we cover on the show is still cryptids. And you can see it's at a 56%, 56% creatures and cryptids, 16% ghosts, UFOs only 9%. Now, historically, I haven't ever covered a lot of UFO stuff. Not because, I don't like it. I do. I really do. But it's certainly one of those topics that's everywhere. And there's a lot of people doing it already. Strange phenomena is in 19%. So it's actually strange phenomena is second place, according to this list, or this poll that I had people do. So we're obviously going to have to work in some more cryptid stuff into the future. I did ask the question because I wanted to know, and if that's what you guys want to see most of, let me know. Yeah, only 9, Maggie. Can you believe that? I would have thought that would have been right up there with cryptids and creatures, but nope, I guess not. Well, there you go. So I guess this has been a full week of fun from the Paranormal Portal. I hope you guys had a good time. Pulls in bigger crowds, I think, UFO topics. Yeah? Yeah, I think they can, but, it's not something that I research regularly. Whereas I've lived through many ghost stories and I've had a cryptid encounter. I've seen a UFO, but I couldn't tell you who was driving it. I don't know who was there looking at me, and I've seen other UFOs since then. I don't know if that was by happenstance or if they just keep showing up for me sometimes, or did for a period of time. But with ghosts, I think I understand a little bit about that. I think I understand a little bit more about cryptids, but I don't know who's driving the UFOs. I don't know if they're even being driven. So it's a tougher topic to tackle. But there's a lot of people out there with a lot of ideas, and they might be right. They might be wrong. Doesn't mean I still won't cover all these other topics. I certainly will, but I just wanted to know what you guys liked. What is it that really excites you the most? And clearly it was a pretty wide margin of victory for cryptids and creatures. So we're going to have to dig up some more cryptids and creatures. Love you serve your community, Brent. Oh, thank you, Maggie. Love you too. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you guys for being here with me as we went through the Saturday show. Breathe. And hopefully you'll continue to come back. I do these shows every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're ever thinking, hey, I need some paranormal, then come on by. And if it's a night we don't have live shows, remember, we have like nearly, I guess we got to be closing in on 1,800 or better streams that are in YouTube's view on demand thing. So you can watch about 1,800 episodes of the Paranormal Portal and different manifestations of that through the years. So there's lots to watch. If you ever need a fix, you can certainly do that. So that's all I got for you tonight. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and thank you so much for being here. Hope you hit the like before you leave. That means a lot to me. And if you're watching the shows when they're not live, leave me a comment. Those really help grease the algorithm in our favor. So, and thanks for all your love and support, guys. That's going to do it for me. So remember, love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. I'll see you on Wednesday nights. And that might be the last live show for this next week, because I'm going to be in Wallace, Idaho over the weekend. But I'll plan on being here Wednesday night. We'll talk more then. Good night, everybody.